Let's get the conversation started. The purpose for this live again is to have a chat with you about why I wrote my book, Everything is Within. I am so excited about this venture, and in the strive of wanting to become a better person, I thought what better way to take all that introspection and all the reflections and all my writings and all the lessons that I've learned along the way, from coaching other people to learning from spiritual leaders, and put it all in a book so we can all use as a resource. I use it as my resource as well. So it's not just something that I wrote to publish, it's something that I also wrote for myself. So I'm really excited, and I'm just gonna tell my story. And I will have it on my Facebook page, and I'll also have it on my YouTube page. Fun fact, I'm not sure if everybody's aware of the battle between Kendrick and Drake, and I have to tell you, I've been one of the last people to actually join the conversation. I joined it quite late, but I was listening to some of Kendrick's recordings the other day, and it's just amazing how much he was providing a space for deep reflection and introspection for Drake. I think his songs almost sound like his therapy. Like, based on what I heard, those are things that Drake will have to probably sit and process for a bit. So in a way, again, everything happens to teach us something, which is my big takeaway from everything in life. So I think Drake will get the opportunity to actually grow from this battle, in my opinion. So let me know what you think. I'm the author of the book coming out in the fall. The book is titled Everything is Within, and it's my song or my art that has been brewing inside of me ever since I was a teenager, and I just never had a way that I felt comfortable putting it out there. And I believe somebody said the reason why a lot of people suffer is because they die with the music still inside of them. As much as the pandemic came with all its struggles, a lot of people handled the pandemic in so many different ways. I think everybody had a challenging time, if I have to be honest. People had different kinds of challenges, right? Some people had a challenge with having to deal with their relationships, maybe because they had spent all this time in the past not really living in the moment in their relationships. They had spent all this time in the past flying by. And so when everything was more calm, they had to get to know each other intimately in spaces with very little distraction and time to process and know each other. Especially because of the nature and the structure of our lives, which is we're so busy trying to make a living, to earn a living. And so when we have time at home, we have to split that time between our kids, between our personal time, and between our time of being homemakers. So it's quite a challenge when you have to do all these things and not have that outlet maybe that you had. The pandemic came and also brought an opportunity for intimate time with themselves, not necessarily away from people, because for one, there was less distraction, right? I think the population that you dealt with was significantly at a lower percentage than what you dealt with before. So that alone is less noise. And then you have the other opportunity where you get one space where you get to sit with yourself every day, because we're all quarantined at home. So home became a sanctuary that we had all actually been praying for. Most people before the pandemic were living lives on the go, and they were all praying and wanting some time just to breathe. And so that part is what I'm talking about, that opportunity for self-reflection and self-introspection, to really just sit with ourselves and have that time, that one-on-one time. I'd never really had that opportunity to have that kind of time. It was so beautiful. Like, I got to wake up every morning. I got to be with my kids, away from the noise. I got to be a school teacher with my kids. I got to actually understand what it took to be a teacher. I think we take for granted what teachers do, and it's priceless. I got to face that challenge. And I have to tell you, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, but I believe that I came out of it not just a better parent, but just a better person as well, and being more appreciative of the teachers because I saw what they have to deal with every day. Because the other thing I got to do is I got to really get healthy with myself. I started reading about nutrition. I started taking my intake very seriously, not just intake nutrition wise, but also like spiritually. I think that was when I logged into Gaia.com. I don't know if anybody is subscribed, but I think that's one of the best gifts I gave myself. I learned so many lessons from so many spiritual teachers, and that's what actually struck the chord in me to reflect and understand that there's a reason why I had all these music in me. There's a reason why from my teenage years, I always felt things at a deeper level. I always thought about things very deeply. First thing that came to mind was wanting to reflect on why the things were the way they were and how it could get better. And a solution-driven mindset was always a thing for me from a very young age. I think when the pandemic came, it made me just want to share as much of all the lessons I'd learned. I really felt like it could be something that could help other people to want to self-connect with themselves at a deeper level, to also get to want to understand themselves better and understand the music that is in them and the reason for them to share it, because that's why we all belong here. Trust me, somebody is watching you. You may not know it, but somebody is watching, somebody is learning from you, and somebody is becoming better because of you. And we each have our own thing that we're born to give this earth. That's why we're here. I know that the process of life and work and being exhausted, and it's kind of kept our focus more on very reductionistic mindset of the plethora of experiences that we're supposed to have in this lifetime. Every single person that you meet and every single thing that you go through is meant to give you something, to teach you something, to make you better, to make you stronger. Every single thing, even the things that are challenging. I know when I say that, most people can think that maybe my life is perfect or my life is not as challenging, but I beg to differ. I'm sorry. I've been through my own stuff in this world. I'll tell you that for sure. It might not be what somebody else has been through because we each have our own individual journeys. And it might not be damaging as other people have been through, but we all feel things differently. And it's not about comparing or disregarding somebody's journey. Everybody has a journey. Everybody has a story. So in that sense and in that light, everybody has something to offer this world. I just want everybody to really give themselves the opportunity to do that. That is one of the main reasons why I wrote this book, because I truly believe that everybody has that. And even if you don't want to share it, I still know that you can enjoy it even by yourself and with yourself. You don't need an audience to really enjoy and experience your life, because the person experiencing it is you. Other people are experiencing their lives, and you are a part of that experience, just a part of it, just a piece of it, right? And whatever you offer them, it helps to build their experience. And so I thought if we all have that mindset, and if we all choose to live our lives really focusing on self-accountability and self-connection and self-awareness, and using that to build, right? To use reflective awareness to build on growing, then we pull through life with more trust and with more faith and with more joy and with more surrender and with more acceptance, because we really understand what it takes for our lives to flourish, for our lives to bloom. So we go through the struggles of life with a better attitude, with an attitude of, what is life trying to teach me now? What is life trying to show me? Rather than, why is this happening to me? We have this mindset that life is happening to us because we've been groomed, not necessarily even intentionally, right? But we've been conditioned to think in that way, to look at life from a negative mindset, so to say. If you think about it, we're more negative than we are positive. Like, I think when we go through periods of, success, it's such a short-lived phase. And then the bad and all the anxiety and all the busyness of life just takes over all over again. And we forget that joy, we forget that success almost instantaneously. So that's one of the things that I really believe that this book is sincerely going to help in restructuring how you look at your life and really trying to find the positive in every circumstance in your life, even the difficult times, right? I'm not saying don't process the difficult times or don't acknowledge them or don't feel them. They're there for a reason. If you have to stop and feel, process. That's actually better. That's what you're supposed to do. But we have lived with such a negative mindset that even when those opportunities come, we see even that opportunity to feel as something negative because of the emotion that is stirring up in us. And the truth is, it's just the process. The only way to live through life is through. The only way is through. It's not over, it's not under, it's through. The only way to overcome anything in life is through, even those challenging times. And I think that the quicker we go through and we feel and we understand what it's trying to reveal, then the faster that we learn the lesson that we can take and move forward to make our lives better. Trust me, I promise you, it works. It really works. It takes trusting to shift your mindset and going through life, trying to find the lesson or the good in whatever is happening. You're not delusional. It doesn't mean that you don't see the negative things or you don't feel them or you don't understand that they're there. You can either dwell in them and wallow in them, or you can go deep within them to go through and find out what comes out on the other side. You have those two options. But majority of us tend to just wallow in that negativity so much because, like I said, we've been programmed to live more in a negative mindset than a positive one. And so when you find yourself living through and you mingle with a crowd of people who don't live with that same mindset, right? It's very obvious that starts to affect. It starts to affect how you see yourself. It starts to affect how you even see living in that positive mindset, which can create doubt. And that's why a lot of times change is so hard, because we find ourselves in situations where we believe something. We've come through and to transcend that lesson, right? But then if everybody else looks at it differently, we start to doubt if what we actually got from that experience was even real. Or is it worth it? Because I'm going to have to go through it by myself. 98% of the people that I interact with don't get it. Here's the thing. You are the only copy of yourself on this earth right now. There's no other person that was going to understand you better than you. There's no other person that's going to understand your values and why you do things the way you do better than you. There's no person else that needs to know that to live in a positive mindset is still better than the latter, better than you. And there's no person that will do it the way you will do it better than you. So you expecting everybody else to get it the way you get it, it's never going to work. You have to trust yourself. That is the challenge that I believe we all have as people, because the reason why people trigger us is because they want us to grow. God made it like that for a reason. It's so you can build that backbone. You have to trust yourself. You have to understand that you came as a single soul. There's no copy of you for a reason. You exist for a reason. You are the way you are for a reason. But those opportunities are to help you grow, are to help you level up, are to help you ascend. Not remain circular this way, but ascend as you go along the way. And it is so possible. The possibilities are endless. But again, we focus so much on the liabilities. So before I wrote this book, I started writing, and I think I started putting it more on paper, building new habits that would help me feel more centered. I did a lot of meditation. I read books that expanded my mindset. I even changed my algorithms. If you know, I'm sure we all know about algorithms. I changed my algorithms on Instagram and Facebook because I watched so much positive reinforcement content that that's all I started getting. The universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe gives you who you are. It's really true. Think about it. When you're sad, you'll find sadness all around you. If you're driving around town, you're in a hurry, everybody on the road will be slow. When you're feeling shitty, you are going to make other people feel shitty. We all in the trap of that's what we automatically have to do. So these are the kind of things that I started thinking about, like, okay, I know that if I'm irritable, yeah, like my conditioning is so normal for me to dump it on other people, but do I really have to? Do they deserve it? All these things really were reinforced by the value of energy, because we are energy, we are frequency. If I'm sad and I go around, like I said, I'm gonna dump on other people, and then that affects those people's moods, right? And in a way, it starts to trigger sadness in them too. And once I really started understanding that aspect, it really made me start reassessing how I received, how I processed them. And even if I found myself wanting to be negative, why I didn't have to, why I could be more compassionate, why that was better, even if it wasn't the most popular thing in that circumstance, but why it was better. Why sometimes to not say the things that we want to say is better. Why it's so important to walk down the street and every single person that I meet, I say something to them that I like about them. Personally, I don't have to be fake. It doesn't matter. It could be something so small, but why it was necessary to do that? Because we all need it. We all need it. We all need that love. We all need that support. We all need the boost of confidence, because this human life is hard based on how we've structured it from way back when. And so I feel like writing this book, to me personally, it's like my own way of offering something that can help somebody's day. Because the journey is individual, like we all know, and it may take some people a lifetime to really self-connect and get to enjoy the beauty of life the way they're supposed to. And it may take somebody a month, because we're all different. But my hope is that my book will help to trigger that reflection so that we can all start seeing life from a more positive light than a negative one. We may all start to focus more on the possibilities than the liabilities. We may all start to understand that whether we like it or not, the things in life will happen the way they happen. But if we can trust that what we have control is how we interpret it and how we use those lessons to keep growing, then that's what really matters. So we can self-connect better, we can learn ourselves better, we can accept ourselves better, we can love ourselves better, we can be ourselves better, not for other people, not to get liked, not because culture says that's what it is, not because everybody's doing it, not because it's popular, but because that's what we truly connect with, because that's what we're meant to be doing. That's what we know deep down, because it makes us feel as whole as possible. We've all been there. We've all had that feeling where we feel so whole and free, even sometimes doing the most basic, minute thing. We've all had those moments, and it's possible to live that way more often than not. It is. It's about understanding who you are as a person, accepting this is who I am. Where do I want to go? How do I want to grow? What do I need to do to get there? And being honest with yourself, because nobody will be honest with you the way you'll be honest with yourself. That's the truth. Nobody can tell you what you need more than you. You know exactly what you need. And sometimes when we don't trust ourselves and when we don't have enough faith, that we tend to not listen to our intuition because we know what we need to do to grow ourselves. And if we can learn to love ourselves, trust ourselves, have faith in ourselves, and choose to shift our mindset, then we tend to grow in the direction that suits us more and suits our path more. And we're okay with it. We don't think it's not going to be accepted. We don't think it's going to be looked down upon. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be somebody ahead of you and somebody behind you. And that's why you're where you are. So that the people ahead of you can inspire you and also inspire the people behind you. And both sides are supposed to self-motivate you. We're all here for a reason. And I really focus so much on self-connection because I really, truly, truly believe that when we self-connect and we live more fulfilled lives, everybody benefits. That's just the truth. The people around you benefit because you're better. Your work benefits because you're better. Your children, your family benefit because you're better. Your friends. And sometimes they may not know that they're benefiting because a lot of them will have a hard time accepting that that's who you are, right? It's really just learning to have that trust because a lot of people will not understand because they're going through their own journey. So focus on yours. When you do, they benefit. They might not know it, but trust me, they do. And most importantly, you benefit because you get to experience your life fully, wholly, with all its trials and all its successes and all its lessons and all its hardships. You get to experience the darkness of it and the light of it. Non-duality. We're both. Imagine if you start looking at even those hardships, like if I'm a rude person and I recognize that I'm a rude person and I really reflect and I say, how can I be better to people without being rude? Just even thinking about that will trigger. It doesn't matter how small, but everything starts small. I may start being rude 90% of the time instead of 100%. And the more I keep that awareness, the more it keeps growing. You've been this way for 30 years. You're not going to change overnight, but change is possible. It's very possible. You just have to start and stick to it because you know that that's what's better and that's what's going to make you better. Even if nobody else understands, eventually you'll be a better person. So it starts to grow. And then that goes to 70%. And then that goes to 50% because the more you practice anything, it becomes a habit. And so you become less rude. And that's the thing. I think a lot of times when we see people that are kind or that are always positive and are always very inspiring, we think that they're always like that. They're not always like that. They're human. They have challenges too. They have times when they feel small. They have times when they want to be rude. They have times when they are jealous. We're supposed to experience all these emotions for a reason to help us grow. And so when you see those people, it's not because they cannot be rude. It's not because they cannot be jealous. It's not because they cannot throw a punch. It's because they have chosen that the better way, the more conscious way, is not to be rude. It's not to throw a punch. It's to find why they are jealous and use that to grow instead. So everything comes, even those people, it's just that they've done the work. And it's possible for everybody. It's possible for every single one of us in your own way. In your own way. Please don't die with the music in you. Don't die with the music in you. The world needs your music. You need your music. God created you that way for a reason, so that God can experience through you. So trust yourself, have faith in yourself, change your mindset, shift. Change is possible. It's so possible. And when you start transcending your lessons, it becomes a transformation. It really, truly does. It's not an easy journey. That's the truth. And that's one of the reasons why people write books like the one that I did, or people have podcasts talking about consciousness and positivity, because it's not an easy journey. It's not, and it's easier to say, oh, I'm not even going to try because why should I? The world sucks. But that's the more reason why we have to have books like mine out there, so that we give people more resources, because somebody might connect with my work and somebody might not. They may connect with somebody else's work, but my work is there for a purpose as well. And so I really believe that people need to know that I'm not saying it's easy. And again, like I said, life is hard because of how we've set it up from the get-go. That's just the truth. And we only recognize this when we become adults, because when we're little, we're being raised by other people and we have to live by those rules. We have to live by their energy. Whatever our parents' energy is, whatever the adults, whatever school we go to, that's the energy we live by. But when you become an adult, it is your responsibility. You've earned that right. You've earned freedom. And so you have to start trying to manifest it as best as you can. It may come late. I'm not saying everybody goes through this, especially with the way the world is changing. Some people grow up already having that mindset because of the environment that they grow up in. But a majority of us have to go through having to learn it as adults. And that's why you're an adult. You are free. You can start transforming your life. You don't have to just go blindly. You don't. Choose your own path. Find the things that bring you joy and do them more. Even if you're tired, trust me, go in there with passion and you'll make the best ever, because it's coming from a deep, emotionally soothing place. That's why I say, even when we feel those times that are negative, that's when you're actually supposed to do more of what you love, so that it can help to shift you. Please, we need it. Don't think that because you don't have it all figured out, it's not going to happen. Start small. Whatever you want to do, just start small. Do it even just for the beauty of doing something new. You have to believe in the energy of it before you get it. That's the truth. That's the one thing that I'll tell you that I've learned so much this past 4 years. You have to believe in the energy of anything that you're trying to grow or build before you actually get it. Because that's how the universe actually brings it to you, because that's what you see more. So you feel the energy more and you do it more, and then you become better. It takes time. I've been through having to relearn myself all over and having to face the challenges of changing and transforming and growing, and having it be a challenge for my family or my immediate community. It's been hard and I'm still growing. That's the reason why I wrote that book, because I saw the beauty in just trusting and wanting to connect with yourself to that deep level. It's the best relationship you ever have. That's just the truth. When I really get to spend one-on-one time with myself, it's one of the best times of my life, especially when I'm in a space where I truly want to reflect. And so if you build a better relationship with yourself, it's very obvious that you build a better relationship with your community. You build a better relationship with your children. And it may not happen overnight, but change takes time. It's one step at a time. Consistency is what takes you there, because consistency is what builds the habit. So just start small. I'm so glad I did this. I would love to build a community. It's necessary. You get to reach people better, because somebody might read your work, but when they're actually talking about it with you and having a conversation, it creates more intimacy and is more likely to translate better. So I'm going to do a poll, and it doesn't matter how many people respond, whatever the majority is, even if it's 2 people, yes, we will have a live based on that agreement. So I'm really glad that you guys joined. For all those who didn't make it to the live, I will, of course, this recording will be on my page, but I'm also going to post this on my YouTube channel if you want to swing by over there and watch it from time to time. So I just want to thank everybody so much again for joining. My book is currently going through a crowdfunding campaign, and the way my publisher works, Manuscripts Press, I really love them. It's a really good program, like a whole year's program. Trust me, this process started since last year. And you work with a developmental editor to build your book, and then you go through with a structural editor, and then you go through copy before you print. And you work with so many different people. You work with other writers, you work with a designer to design the cover of your book, you work with a marketing specialist. And the best thing about the program is it allows you to own 100% of your book. So you own your book. So it gives authors that power. And it's a hybrid. So you can still take your book and print it out on Amazon by yourself and sell it. So I really like the program, and I feel like just even being through it, it has actually made me a better writer. So I know that my book is definitely gonna be the best that I can offer based on all these resources. So they do that, and then they do a crowdfunding campaign to help the author publish the book. Because the people that buy early, which I really appreciate every single one of you, they help to create funds that I use to print the book. And they become a piece of the book. They get acknowledged in the book, because without them, the book might not print. So I just want to end this live by thanking every single person that has purchased the book so far. Thank you for believing in my message and my music. And I want to thank the people that are planning to buy. I thank you so much for trusting and believing in my work. And I hope that my book will help you self-connect and find a way to truly enjoy being you, even in the society that might not understand. I hope that my book will help you to bring out all the notes and all the words and all the music in you. So thank you again for joining the live. If you can leave a comment, leave what I can do to make this process better, to make this experience, this relationship better, I'd really appreciate it. I'll take whatever you have to offer. That's how we grow, right? We take lessons. And if you're gonna join me for an hour, I'd love to make it the most pleasant experience as possible. So just let me know in the comments what you think. I'm gonna leave the link to my book. If you feel like you resonate and you really wanna support this cause, and make a meaningful difference with me, the link is in my bio, but the link will be here as well. You can go ahead and purchase. So thank you so much again. I will see you guys soon, and just leave me feedback and I can always use that to grow from here. So have a lovely, lovely rest of your week. And until next time, keep healing, loving, and growing.